Hey guys, good morning. I'm Mr. Hobby and welcome to this new unboxing video of mine. Plus, of course, we have the exciting test of what just arrived for me today. This absolutely fantastic carrying bag sent directly from the team at Radiolink. And inside this case, there is a professional 16-channel 2.4 GHz radio controller that comes packed with tons of advanced features, and the screen even says, "Welcome Radiolink" when you power it on. Let's get started right away with the full unboxing process, then let's head straight to the track to see it in action. Let's go. It is time for the unboxing. Take a look. This little bag even has a label. And it's really nice and padded. So it protects our radio controller well. I immediately noticed the European certification which is necessary for us here, and the Radiolink T16D instruction manual, which of course is in English and Chinese. However, as we have previously observed with the other radio, the T12D, the programming is quite intuitive, so we can even manage to get by without it. Unboxing. Meanwhile, there are fighter jets flying overhead, see? I don't know if you can hear them. Here's the radio, guys, all up in the sky, but first let's see what's inside these two little boxes. This one should contain the accessories. No. There's the shoulder strap, guys. Let's see here. Let's see what's in here. That's almost it, guys. That was the shoulder strap for the bag, but inside here is the shoulder strap for the Radiolink transmitter. Take a look. And then there are accessories like the USB cable, USB-C, and other cables with XT60 connectors dedicated to the receiver, which are used for telemetry. We'll take a look at them now. And where's the receiver? Here it is, guys, 16 channels, the R16F telemetry receiver, which can send signals directly to the servos using the servo pin. So we have PWM, or you can also use digital signals with a single pin like SBUs plus the CRSF communication protocol, Quali. All three of these options can actually work simultaneously at the same time. Furthermore, it is important to note that this receiver supports a wide range of input voltages, ranging from as low as 3 volts all the way up to 12 volts, guys. That is truly impressive, so it is definitely a high voltage capable unit for your builds. Let's see what's inside this blister pack. These are the accessories, guys. Cable USB, USB-C to update the radio, and also the receiver directly with our PC. This is the specialized XT60 adapter, equipped with a standard JST plug, which is primarily used to safely and accurately check the receiver's voltage levels. And other plugs, which are definitely always useful for telemetry, because look, here we have the dedicated input, and we also have this accessory with its clip, which is used to make the stick return to 0 with a spring. Where the throttle is now, this is mostly used for certain drones. But we're not interested in that for now, guys. Now we need to look at the radio, and I want to say this livery, this design, even the color is really cool. It looks professional, and the material also seems well made and well painted. And then it's just really nice. It seems very ergonomic too. We have anodized sticks in red or burgundy, the same color as the power button, so power. Then we have the scroll wheel used for programming, and we can also press it to confirm selections. We have the end button to go back and the mode button to enter the menus. There are 4 main ones, and from those 4 we can access sub-menus with all their functions. Look here, how many switches are there? Compared to the T12D, we have 4 more. Also, here there's a slot for the micro SD memory card, and it already comes with 4 gigabytes. On the back, we have the adapter for the external module. the two dials that automatically return to 0, which are mostly used. For drones that use gimbals, where cameras are mounted and so on, the carrying handle and the battery compartment, I've already put in my rechargeable batteries. It's double, so you need 8 AA batteries, but you can still power the remote control with a LiPo battery. We have a wide choice because this radio can support anything from a 2-cell LiPo to a 4-cell LiPo. Here it says from 7.4 volts to 18 volts, guys, and in addition, the system here is protected against short circuits, so if we accidentally reverse the plug, nothing happens. Furthermore, guys, just like with the T12D on this one too, we can install external modules in nano format. This includes options starting from the TBS Crossfire Nano TX, the ATA ELRS 1-watt module, and the BETAFPV ELRS Nano TX. This flexibility makes the controller very versatile for your long-range requirements. Okay, now let's go ahead and power the device on by simply pressing the main power button. Ah, that's awesome. This unit actually has voice capabilities. We also have a display here. Let's say it is quite similar in design to the one found on the T12D. Naturally, by simply pressing the end button, we'll be able to see the full services diagram, and it talks too. Pressing it again, we go into the telemetry menu. Pressing it once more, we go back, then by pressing the mode button, we enter the 4 sub-menus. We can navigate between the 4 menus by rotating the dial, and by selecting one, we can access it. Here you go, guys, but we'll look at the programming shortly when I install the 16-channel receiver on the model and then go for a test flight. But first, let's do a range test with the RC car. Because remember, guys, that this radio can this versatile system can be programmed for all types of RC models, including airplanes and boats, off-road cars, various RC vehicles, complex robots, excavators, and any other kind of remote-controlled model you can imagine. Here we go, guys. Let's go do the range test. Okay, guys, I'm ready to do a first range test with this radio. I've set up the type of model that I'm going to use. On Auto RC, I installed its included receiver, which is the Radiolink R16F, equipped with telemetry. And in fact, I also connected the GST connector to monitor the voltage of the model itself, which now appears on the screen. So I have a voltage of 8.1 volts, very useful telemetry. Let's go for the test. Okay, guys, let's proceed. There's no point in driving the car all the way over there because then I'll just have to move it away, so I'll go over there myself. Okay, guys, let's go up the little hill. Okay. I'm really far from the car now. It's already 200 meters. I have the RSSI value on the display. And here are the bars next to the little antenna icon. I see 1 or 2. On the other one, they disappeared right away. Okay. I don't know if you can make out that tiny little vehicle from way over here, but right now I'm moving it more than 300 meters away. The antenna is pointed straight at the little car. The signal is present. The RSSI value is showing on the display. I am now getting very close to the very end of this track. so I am currently just a little bit over 300 meters away from the finish line. I don't know if you can see it over there on the screen, but I've made it. Here are the lights of the little car. I'm at the edge of the track. I haven't lost the signal. The RSSI value is present, and I also have telemetry that's now showing me 7.9 volts from the model's onboard battery. It's going off the track, look. Here are the lights, and I'm coming back. Okay guys, test passed. I'm coming down without doing any somersaults. I'm about to head back now. And I'm also slowly bringing the little car back towards me. Let's see who gets here first. Do you see the little lights? They're down there at the end. All right, here we go, guys. We are finally meeting up with everyone right now. Here it is. It even honks the horn. All right then guys, let's get this mounted. Now, on the RC plane, let's go ahead and turn on the transmitter by firmly pressing the power button. I've already set it to helicopter mode. Here we go. It even talks, guys. Now let's do a quick overview of the various menus. So I'll tell you right away that to go back you need to press the N button, but only from the main screen. If we press N, we immediately get to see the servo diagram. All right, here it is, guys. If we press this button again, we move over to the telemetry page. Just see how much data we can actually display on the screen at once. If we've installed sensors near our receiver, in this specific case, we can clearly see the current voltage level of the onboard battery is at exactly 12.2 volts. Let us now navigate back to the previous screen. Now, let's take a look at and access the 4 primary main menus. By pressing the mode button, we can navigate through the menus and functions using this dial, which we can also press to confirm selections. Before we look at the menus, the radio is naturally equipped with 2 sticks. In this case, mode 1, throttle on the right. We have digital trims, 2 dials that can be selected to control 2 distinct and separate channels, plus the switches, of which there are 8, with various positions like this one here, which has 3 positions. And in addition to those features, we also have 2 specialized dials located on the back that do not stay fixed in one position. They basically return to the center automatically after use. This is very useful if we need to precisely control gimbals on drones, for example. It allows the operator to direct, for example, a camera with much smoother movements. Let's move on to the menu. We have the basic menu setting. Click on it to access the various functions. We have the servo monitor, servo reverse, the maximum servo travel head point, servo speed, and the auxiliary channels. There are many here. We go from the 5th channel up to the 16th, as well as trim and mixer. Audio switch. Now that we have finished looking at the sensor configuration, let's take a moment to go back to the previous menu, and then we can move on to the next step, which involves adjusting the model setting for our project. where we have the option to select the type of model. Look at how many choices there are. We go from airplanes, delta wings, drones, helicopters, cars, boats, cruise, excavators. Let's go back to flight mode where we can select using the lever. The flight mode we need to use, such as O-learning, sport, agro, and so on. Let's go back. The flight conditions, which in this case, by selecting the helicopter program, there are 3 of them. The dual rates and exponential settings menu, as you can see, here it is. The throttle curve, you will need to carefully adjust the throttle hold settings, navigate through the comprehensive gyro menu, and precisely calibrate the pitch curve for your radio-controlled helicopter. Settings, helicopter over here. We can set the maximum percentage for the 3 main controls, that is roll, elevator, and pitch. Let's go back. Take a look at the transmitter settings located right over here. From this menu, we can essentially go ahead and select the specific model that we are currently interested in using. In this case, the first Jet Ranger helicopter. System settings. We can select the language. Unfortunately, Italian is still not available along with all the other features. We have a total of 3 pages. Stick mode, in this case mode 1. Then to change the mode mechanically, you need to open the radio and disassemble the entire stick. It's easy. The trainer menu. The timers menu. Settings, endpoints, switch setting. Boot setting to enable the animation when the transmitter starts up. We can change the theme's tone. Guys, look how cool this is. This, for example, is a color that's very visible during the day. We also have the option to fully personalize and customize the specific colors of the various elements displayed on the screen. The About menu, where we can see the hardware and software versions. And you should also perform a complete reset of the transmitter unit. Then we can navigate to the dedicated RF receiver setting configuration menu, where we are able to carefully choose the specific model and type of receiver that we are currently using. It's very intuitive, anyone could program it. Okay guys, let's move on to installing this radio on this remote controlled helicopter, which is equipped with a combustion engine powered by a mixture of methanol, nitro, and synthetic oil. I've already installed everything, but now I'll explain what I did, okay? Here, this is the receiver that came included, the R16F, equipped with 2.4 GHz telemetry and a full 16 channels. I installed it using adhesive Velcro. As you can clearly see right here, here they are, guys. We have both the RX unit and the main battery, as well as the dedicated BEC module, which is used to power the receiver system. Since I chose this solution using a 1300 milliamp hour 3-cell LiPo battery, connecting it to the BEC, basically, it reduces the voltage to 5 volts, which I can use to power the receiver. But I should mention that this RX is a GIT voltage, so it can be powered up to 12 volts, meaning directly with a 2-cell LiPo. For example, please pay very close attention to this specific detail, because in this particular case, you also absolutely need to ensure that you have high-quality servos that are specifically designed to be able to handle a significantly high voltage input safely. This voltage level could be similar to that of a 2-cell LiPo when we compare it directly against the more traditional style of power pack, which is rated at 4.8 volts nominal. It's advisable to place the radio a bit away from the receiver. As you may have noticed, let's also talk about moving on to the installation. So basically in the kit, there's also this little cable which is used to measure telemetry regarding the voltage of the battery that in this case powers the receiver. The receiver will always have 5 volts set using the back. However, on the screen we will see the voltage of the battery, which in this case is 12.3 volts. Here is the connection. Then, from the battery eliminator circuit unit, I utilize an available unused pin located directly on the receiver to provide the necessary voltage to power it, okay? So, let's move on and take a closer look at the different wiring connections we need to cover. Basically, as far as the roll movement is concerned, if you take a look here, I have used channel number 1 for that specific function. Now, here is the detailed diagram of the servos for your reference. As for the pitch control, which handles the up and down motion, I have used channel number 2 for this part of the configuration. Here it is. As for the motor, I used channel number 3, which in this case, since it's mode 1, is the right stick. Since I selected the helicopter mode and then chose the type of swash plate, the transmitter mixes it for me. Channel number 6 is also mixed with 3, which would be the collective, the pitch of the blades. Take a look. Then on channel number 4, I installed the tail rotor. This servo is controlled by a gyroscope that cancels out the gyroscopic effect of the main rotor. Otherwise, if it weren't there, the helicopter would spin on its own axis. So this gyroscope compensates for this centrifugal force. And it gives the correct command to keep the tail straight. I've set the sensitivity on this little dial, the VRB, which I use to control channel number 8 because the gyroscope has a dedicated pin specifically for this type of setup. So by decreasing or increasing it, I decrease or increase the sensitivity of the gyroscope. If it's too sensitive, then the tail might do this kind of thing. So we gradually reduce it by a few tenths until the tail of the aircraft stays perfectly straight. Next, once all the pins for the various control surfaces are properly installed, you will need to perform the initial setup. So, carefully set the directions of the servos if they are not already correct by using the configuration software. You may need to reverse them. Take a look. In fact, I actually had to change several of them myself to get it right. It is specifically on channels 1 and 4, which are designated for the roll and the tail rotor movements. Now let's head back to the settings. From there, you will definitely need to carefully adjust the end point limits. This is crucial because it is not guaranteed at all that we will immediately have the correct value set right away. If we aren't careful, the servo might be under too much strain, so we really need to reduce that endpoint value. It is just like what I did earlier for the motor. Take a look here, even at full throttle, I used almost the maximum possible setting. But when I manually reduce it, it's clearly and immediately visible on the graph. I actually had to reduce the maximum travel distance. And the exact same thing goes for all the other individual channels as well. Of course. Then while you're doing this operation, it will become, let's say, automatic. To truly develop a high level of skill and a delicate finesse when operating helicopters, you need to be exceptionally careful and precise when it comes to fine-tuning and adjusting the engine settings. This must be done in combination with the collective pitch control, which essentially refers to the complex curves of the channel movement, as well as ensuring the correct calibration of the maximum travel limits for the servos. For this specific reason, we will now go directly into the advanced settings menu of the radio transmitter. And here we have two very important functions to look at, which are specifically known as the throttle curve settings. Here it is. Look at how I set it up. There are several points, 9 points to be specific, that need to be adjusted accordingly, depending on how the helicopter flies. So by doing this consistently, we can actually make it much more responsive, or perhaps even more gentle, depending entirely on the specific situation which category it refers to? The model itself in this specific case is a meticulously crafted, scaled down miniature replica. So we don't actually need to have exceptionally rapid or aggressive maneuvers. Instead, what we really need here is for the helicopter's movements and its overall response to the controls to be remarkably fluid, steady, and consistent, which should accurately mirror the authentic characteristics of a real-life flight. That's right, because with RC replicas, we have to simulate what happens in reality. When a helicopter like the Jet Ranger in this case flies with people actually on board, since these models are much smaller, there are no people inside. But we have to simulate as if there were, meaning we have to manage to make them fly in a way that resembles a real helicopter as much as possible. A real one. Then we also have, as I mentioned, the specific pitch curve, which definitely also needs to be adjusted as well. This ensures that, for example, the helicopter maintains a very smooth, gentle, and consistent vertical motion through the air and isn't twitchy like 3D aerobatic helicopters. This needs to be as smooth as possible, so I set this curve using the 9 available points. Look, there's even a graph here. Then, by carefully configuring the device specifically for helicopter mode, the transmitter provides me with access to a specialized and very useful function, which is basically known as flight conditions. Here it is. 3 conditions that I can set using the switch, in this case with just one lever, which is this one, the SVC. This is the specific control with which I can easily switch to increase the volume of the various main channels simply by moving this one slider back and forth. So in this particular case, I have the background helicopter sound effects set very softly and subtly within the mix. When you switch into sport mode, basically the helicopter starts to become significantly more responsive to your inputs, down, pass. And this progression continues all the way up to acrobatic mode, where the flight controls are much more sensitive and precise, allowing for a completely different and more advanced style of flying. Let's say more abrupt. These various flight conditions can be linked together wherever we want. As a matter of fact, if I go ahead and navigate to the second page of the menu, I can clearly see exactly where to use the conditions. In this particular case, I have basically selected the dual rates, the EXPO settings, and the overall gyro sensitivity levels as well. As a matter of fact, indeed, if we navigate back and enter into the dual rates menu, we can see that located at the top of the screen, it clearly displays for us the specific icon for the 3 different flight conditions. Here, look at how the graph increases and decreases. Then we also have the flight mode, which in this case I used to make the radio speak. And so the learning, sport, and acro modes by then selecting this switch, the SVC. This way, the radio will speak in the various modes, and in the different flight modes, of course, all of these various different functions I just showed you are for properly adjusting and fine-tuning your radio. On this helicopter, we need to carefully adjust and fine-tune them while they are in actual operation during these very first test flights, which we are all going to observe together right now. Okay guys, it's time to test the legendary Radiolink T16D radio installed on my Class 60 helicopter, nitro powered. Let's activate the timer. I really should have set it up the channels in the right direction. Looking closely at this specific dial on the controller, the VRB, or the overall sensitivity of the gyro system, which is now currently adjusted and set to exactly half sensitivity. The engine is revving too high compared to the pitch. I'm going to stop the timer for just a moment, then go into the settings menu, because we really need to adjust the throttle curve settings. Here we go, I'm adjusting the throttle curve. Okay, let's try like this. Still revving too high. Okay guys, I've set this throttle curve, so now it needs to be trimmed. Cut out, guys. Did you see how complicated it is? Adjusting a helicopter to get it ready for flight. I mean, just for hovering, simple hovering. I'm also simultaneously adjusting the gyro sensitivity and trimming all the channels from the tail to the swash plate. All right, then I'll go ahead and continue trimming the throttle curve just a little bit more. For now, it's fine. Let's start the timer again. A bit of right roll. So let's just say that right now the hovering process seems to be going fairly well. The engine seems to be operating quite smoothly and effectively, though maybe it is idling at a slightly higher speed than normal. But for now, I want you to take a very close look at the specific way I am trimming it down right now. Did you all manage to catch that detail, guys? And of course, you can't take your fingers off the sticks. Now all that's left is to carefully adjust and fine-tune the pitch curve as well. Let's bring it down to land, and then slightly increase the gyro sensitivity a bit. The pitch trajectory seems sharp and steep to me, which suggests that it is a bit too intense. Sensitive. Let's go into the model editing mode, adjusting the pitch and the curve settings, and now we are ready to begin. And we need to reduce the pitch curve a bit. Here we go, guys. These are, of course, extremely precise and subtle adjustments. We've carefully configured this specific curve here. So let's go back and see how it performs in a test. I remember that I also increased the gyro a bit. In fact, it lifted off more smoothly, and I can also feel it smoother, closer to the control of the right stick. In this case, mode 1, I have the throttle on the right, so collective, the pitch is on the right. Let's trim the tail a bit. Okay. Up here, I have set up 3 different flight styles for you to choose from, which basically are, the style is for beginners, but I called it that because that's what it's called on the transmitter. The style is slightly more sensitive, is the acrobatic style, which in this case, since it's a scale model, I don't fly inverted, but I have a lot of range on the controls thanks to a single switch that basically changes it for me. The physical setup of the cyclic plate and the tail assembly transitions from a setting with less throw to one with more throw, covering the responsive sport mode, the advanced acrobatic mode, and the stable learning mode. That's what I called it. I think as a first test, it's okay. Incredible. Guys, it is finally approved. The legendary Radiolink T16D transmitter is here. Tore, you can find the link in the description of this video. If you are looking to buy one for yourself too, check it out now. Approved, guys. As you have just seen, I did a very rapid and straightforward setup of both the pitch and throttle curves for the helicopter. It's incredibly easy and very intuitive to use, and through the detailed helicopter programming, as I mentioned to you before, I have 3 distinct and separate flight modes that can be easily set with just one single switch, or even more than one switch actually, which effectively changes the specific settings of multiple different channels, and in this particular case, it affects 4 of them simultaneously. Then actually, if we navigate through the settings menu, we have the flight mode section where we can also manually configure and select the specific flight modes from here, which will then immediately trigger the corresponding audio sound effect. So just like I previously did on the SVC switch, here it is. Well, we have the learning mode, the sport mode, and finally the acrobatic mode. Let's go back, and these are the flight conditions. Here they are. All 3 of these specific positions are clearly set on this physical switch, which definitely seems to be the SVC, up, mid, and down. Let's go back for a moment. If we navigate further into the main settings menu, when we talk about the rates curve, specifically dual rate and exponential, let's take a closer look at exactly how you can change these settings using just a single dedicated toggle switch. Awesome. Let's go back. I'll continue with the flight. Go, guys. Spectacular, guys. That is way too much, guys. The countdown timer has already been activated. Let's activate it a bit, but look at this beautiful graphic theme. This specific color scheme is now carefully established. This effect will ensure that we are able to view the display with perfect clarity, even when standing under the direct and bright sunlight. And it's also nice, this orange and red. Look at how I'm flying it, guys. I'm hovering at about 4 to 5 meters altitude. Let's go back. Actually, let's try to adjust the settings to make it significantly more sensitive while in sport mode. In fact, it's more responsive now. The tail is already better, meaning it's less sluggish. Now let's try the very next step. Let's say we are almost at the absolute maximum range, but always carefully considering that. As for the specific settings, I have personally chosen those dedicated to a standard flight for recreation, acrobatic mode, the tail, everything's fine. What a show! The tail is very responsive. I remind you that this model is the Jet Ranger, the legendary Jet Ranger with Raptor 50 V2 mechanics. A prize to whoever invented that mechanism. Truly super, guys, and not just for the guys. I also want to give a huge prize to whoever was responsible for designing this radio controller, which is truly and really excellent in every way. With very little actual expense, it provides you with the incredible beauty of 16 full channels, along with a myriad of complex mixes, extensive programming options, and tons of different model types that can be easily set up through the versatile software system. Then updating it is really a piece of cake. You just need to connect the radio controller to your PC and set it up easily, very easily. Like a USB pen drive, you will view the files on the SD card on your PC, take the files downloaded from the Radiolink website, and copy them onto this card in the radio controller, overriding the old files. And the functions will keep increasing. All right, guys, it is officially approved and the test passed. What more can I say? Thank you so much, Radiolink, for this amazing test, and I will see you all at the next one.